Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Seventeen minutes before 8 is our time. Good morning and welcome to Business Focus. Right here on Kapi Talk 100.4 FM Harare's Heartbeat. As always, with Kudzie Sharara. Good morning, Kudzie. How was your weekend?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, Patsani. My weekend was all right.
Yeah, great. I know you're in the celebratory mood. Yeah,
Yes,
you're
yes.
part of those celebrating.
You know, Burawan.
Yeah, say that again. So today we want to do a little bit different on our business focus. We've got a couple of questions that we've got, and all you need to do is we ask them to call in and also come through on our WhatsApp platform 0719 100404, or you call us in on 0772 269 229 or 269 241. Right. Easy questions we have just for business focus. All right. We're just giving out some questions just to find out more before Kudzie explain a bit on a couple of things, right? Right. What is your earliest memory or encounter with money? What is your earliest memory or encounter with money? Right.
Young meaning.
Yes,
Yeah, you can share with us.
I was primary when I got book POSB.
Chukuri.
Yangi green.
Chukundero kuti angosingaibate
Yangi singabatko. Yangi yaisa draw you. Yango yangi green so. I think ndo banakazi you know man. And I still remember ne $5 yakapinda mumo yakara time na nasi ndofunga ichiriko iko.
Interesting. And in my earliest memory of money is actually growing up. We used to do vending, you know, like tengisa madomas in Miro. So my mother used to do that, and during the holidays we would help out with that, and sometimes even school days, but just to go and relieve here, maybe wadogo was a week or something like that. To end out or vachiri kumbara wasatu watsoka to fano no ronga pamsika. So at an early age, that was that my pricing of products. To know price, as you say, you know, giving change at an early age. That's my earliest memory of manuta. Oh, don't marry, don't try to achieve.
Okay.
So for me, that's my earliest memory of money.
So I think my earliest memory is when I was given chigaba chiya. So from there you'd get coin. So I was thinking with maybe ndoma ndinoisa mari kana ndakuenda mashops nonokuchukudza ndichitenga. No.
Oh, wachitakura waenda nacho.
Ndaitakura toenda nacho. Aiwa ichaufambe nacho ichi. Ukasara change here but unokupa pocket money and you need to drop in there. Wozvipa time frame yako iwo.
I'm not loyal.
Okay, share with us. You can also call in and tell us your earliest memory or encounter with money. Let us know how old were you and how was the feeling like. You can come through on 0772 269 229 or 0719 100404. Answer aiwa yakudzi yakabva yaita kuti ade zvekuongorora nezvemari. All right, another question that I would ask for you gentlemen. What would you say is the first principle of money that you remember?
Yeah.
The first principle of money that you remember. As you think about it, let me read out a message here from Elder Samanyanga in Banket. We say, my earliest memory of money was getting pocket money, going to school, and then bank it with school besa, and then withdraw it mbichana urukuchikoro.
I think also for most people, their earliest encounter with money is tete kana pamnini mosirwa mari, you know. I think for a lot of people ndo mapirwa vaita mari bozana mdara kana mumza ngokupa mari zvaziskabude but kukangoya muenzi unoziva mosirwa tumadhora tuma50 cents aipapo manje
Muzvina Mshonga is saying that my earliest memory was vending at Nyazura bus station, Mushandira selling freezits. That was back then. Okay, so we've got 2 questions. You can pick any of the 2 questions. They're still coming. I'd ask you the question.
Yeah, principle. So for
Principle.
me, for me, when it comes to principle of money, is like what you can do with money. I think for me, the first one is almost similar to what you're talking about earlier, Tinashe. It's that of saving. I think for me, the earliest memory I have of the principle of saving was through my mother. And number two, we used to do the vending, yes. So vaichingita mari muchigaba chongo chataura chigaba mari chingoiswa ndiri, and after some pera kwegore rimwe gore, so and that one inogara iri in my memory, and I think yakandibatsira zvakanyanya paissue yesaving, because vakazongoti rimwe zuva ndobva chavhurwa chigaba chechiya takubatsira kuverenga, munochisa madhora, unoziva madhora rakudhara recoin rema 50 cent, which must take like in tens, and 10, and then vabva vanotenga kitchen unit yavo. Unozva kitchen unit yanga yakanaka. I think it was her second, but I think it was her first using her own money. Isiri mari yekuti vanenge vapiwa namudhara voseva vozodi oya vanenge vawirirana namudhara kuti angatisave mari tozonotenga kitchen unit. This was entirely from her savings from this particular vending business. And I think for me, ndopandakadzidza kuti but ukatoseva mari unokwanisa kuitawo chinhu chihombe, because at that time achanchiri chinhu chihombe, because vanhu vazhinji vanga vasina kuma 80s. It was an achievement and
a good principle,
seeing her sweat and saving principle. So for me, that was my earliest, I think my first principle of money that I remember is that of saving. Save mari.
I think my other first principle is what that I would think is, I don't know whether it still applies. Haizina mchembero wangu, pay yako inofana kusangana na imwe pay mu account. Yeah.
Imwe haifana kupinda imwe isisimu.
Yeah. Pay ye this month inofana undoti
wakakura imwe.
And then paunono with it panozopinda imwe ka inonosvika ichinopinda on top of year. In other words, she was just saying kuti aufana kusiya account iri at 00.
No, that's saving as well. That's saving. I mean, cumulatively. Because cumulatively, imagine ichipinda muchine imwe. Mova mazopinda imwe muchine dzimwe dzedze. I think cumulatively unongo save mari yakawanda, but
it's still doable today.
For some it's still doable. For some, it's a struggle, because we do not want to lie. People are living hand to mouth.
Yeah.
And this says Victoria Parsaruti, Ishpinda nas,
so in any angle, I still remember she would go na mamoti. Watanga some tithe nema offerings. Maria Kuino Sharara. I think I couldn't change some offerings. Rakanyanyisa na ndrim sabata kausaka garotinash. So ndaenza ma offerings zvakanyanyisa kuchechi nematithe, ndo zvandakaudzwa ndikadoti mari yako iwande muupenyu, this is what you do. Inodarika bhenki rese, hapana bhenki rinodarika tithe and offering. Ndo makura ndakakura ndichiudzwa.
Anzana Mkanya pa Westgate. My earliest encounter with money is when I used to get coins like cents, matiks in the late 70s, and used to buy center cools and round sweets, eins maniga balls. My elder siblings used to go out selling onions, tomatoes, and veggies. Sagamdara aisadama coins. So I used to get the coins and keep them. Yeah, that's Mukanya from Westgate.
Yeah,
This one says, my V from Highfield says that in my first principle with money, my father would always say, Tinotanga kubadara rent, poku garapaka kosha. So that's my principle as well, even up to this day.
Yeah, tanga rent first, landlord first. But also even your part, son, I think for those very religious, Christians, for example, I think if you really believe in that principle, it actually works.
It does.
I remember, when you deviate from such principle, especially when you start believing truly in that principle, and then also ita paunongoita deviate utanga kuita zvisirizo. Unoona ungokwirita vanhu mara isipera mwedza upere wakutotanga kukwirita vanhu mara. But wakanga wati no handingamboendese 10% kuchechi because mari yangu inozoshota, but utozoona kuti kushota wese. But paunoendesa that principle works. So I think for Christians that really believe in that, it actually works as well.
Yeah. Remember, this is Business Focus, proudly brought to you by POSB, simply making life simply possible. 120 years making life simply possible. There's a message here says that from Nontlatla, who says that my earliest encounter with money was our dad had to order freezers for us. Then we deposit the proceeds into our POSB accounts. Unfortunately, we didn't get to spend the money when the USD was first introduced.
Yeah, I think the transition from Zim dollar to USD, and then to transition foot, I think it messed a lot of things. Even if you look at pension funds, we are still talking of compensation of pension funds because that's what it was. But for banks, for example, $10 is US, yeah, Zim dollar. It was the laws of the land, and there's nothing banks could have done with that. But yeah, that's what we grew up in. Savings,
right.
Yeah.
So my next question will be: when did your investment journey started? When did your investment journey started?
Yeah, for me, after when I was still in college, so I started doing accounting. That was my first qualification, and then I at some point I started doing journalism. And one of our lecturers there, John Waters, and then.
John Waters was my lecturer. Yeah, he was my lecturer on business reporting. Yeah.
So because I had done accounting first, and then I did at Kosa, and then so he would leave me with his classes. Sarochi don't understand these things. Sarochi did this actually in my team. But after I finished, he was running an investment, sort of like investment advisor or investment research boutique. And then he said, you can come and work for me. So when we were working for him, that's when he then introduced us to investment, because we were actually researching on listed companies, talking to CEOs and the like. And then this guy in Jamaica, but $20, I want you to invest. And my very first investment was in Delta, $20.
Buying shares.
Shares. I get $20, and then I invested in that was Delta was my very first ever investment when it comes to shares. And then in 2008 now, in 2008, don't you know 2008 zvanga say kwava inflation, but isusu tatotanga kuinvesta kumashure ukuku. And then in 2008 hazvona zvakaipa because kwanga hyperinflation, and in fact it started in 2007 towards the end of the year. And I was about to get married, and Maria inetsa even kuitora mbengi yawashandira yacho enge singatoreke. What more iri kuluza value chiti uchienda kumba makuseni uri kukwira imwe mari kombi manheru yatove imwe, in fact maskati yatove imwe manheru yaimwe, things prices were just going haywire. But I used to get married, so I had some shares that I had been buying over the years. So I sold some of those shares, and then to get the money out of the bank, what I would do with my brother, I would go and swipe my drinks my beers, my yangachiri TM yeku avonde uko tainoswipe my beers nema soft drinks to attend up my shops ku Warren Park wataigara pama shops.
Somebody did send in a message saying I could wakambogara ku Warren Park here. Had a message yatoya panapa just
so ndakurira ku Warren Park. So taibva taenda pamberi pemabottle stores a Warren Park paipe tonopaka blaza nganga ine mota topaka paipe totanga kutengesa mabeers aya nema soft drinks aya at a cheaper price than yembottle. Saka nayo achitenga that's how mari mabuditsira teketa mari inorora papasina choice, because kubhengi kwacho haigona kumira queue mari haisi kubuda unopiwa yange yakulimit kwaka. Saka ndo mabuditsira teketa mari ekunorora tinacho.
I think my first investment journey started with the help of my sekuru. He's now in England, Tariro Marima. Vaishanda pa UDC. Unoza UDC yange iri opposite, it was a building right opposite Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. So we would go there, no why sends ku UDC. So what I'm not tenga my shares and what. And then from there we went home. I can't remember the amount of money that I got from my mother, and he says, and on tenga my shares, and I bought my shares at OK Zimbabwe. Yeah, OK Zimbabwe. A long time ago. So from there I bought the shares, but I was not tracking anything because that's not interesting. But right now, I think I still have shares. I'm a shareholder with OK Zimbabwe.
Yeah, you must have. Yeah. As long as it's not my number and cheap, because zvinoitika kumashares kune inonzi share consolidation yekuti vanogona kuti angaine 10 takutora 10 tomati ya1 handiti vanoita inonzi share split tukangana ne1 takumasplita akuita 10 handiti so kune opposite mamwe matransactions anoitika acquisition of some other company in exchange for shares, saka panoitika madilution yemashares. Saka yes, mashares ako unogona kunga kwamatenga ari 100 but they might not be 100 now because of changes akaitika since wakangotenga uka. So in other countries you can actually get away with investing and forgetting wozofunga after some years wotoona une mazimari. But in Zimbabwe you have to track your investments because it's very volatile. You need to continue tracking, otherwise unogona kuti wakainvesta in 2010 wongoti now kuti amuna 2024 ndofanira kunge ndane mazimari, ongona mari ichiri the same or yatodzikira because our stock market has been very volatile. It has rewarded traders speculators vanotrader frequently. They've been rewarded handsomely because they buy low, sell high. But for long-term investors, I think some are crying because you look at the valuation, market capitalization as it has remained stagnant for more than a decade. Inombokwira handiti ichidzika yokwira yodzika, but yokana wangomira manje inokwira yotosvika mudenga state yakanditi yodzika futi payanga iri paipa yopaunozocheka rungona iringori payanga iri. But others who were trading and active vanongonanga vakatoti payanga yakakwira state kubva vatengesa pavazotenga back mashares avo yadzika.
So Kudzie, all these questions, I know we've got the last one, time manje yakwira. Would you go for stocks or property? What would you do most of? Stocks or property?
I think I've done more property than stocks. Why do I say so? Because with property, unotenga zvezve ma-installments anditi unodeposita stand. So every month pakutongobviswa installment, and I think every month I put more money on property investments than on stocks. Stocks ndogona kutombojamba kana 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ndisina kumbesa mari mustock market. But kuproperty, because my installments every month you are then compelled kutopota uchiisa. Saka if you've got my properties auri kuideposita in auri kuita my installments, so I think I have put more money in.
So Kudzie, just briefly, but with all these 4 questions that we have asked, how important are they in terms of someone who wants to make their 2025 resolutions centered around money?
They are all important. Remember the money principle, your money principle, issues of saving, issues of investments, they are very key.
And having a target of what you want to do.
Yes, you must have objectives, you must have goals of what you want to achieve, and then you go about it. I think maybe this week we'll try and get even my executives from other companies, their earliest encounter money and how they did it.
All right, thank you so much. Business Focus proudly brought to you by POSB. We do this again tomorrow. Stand by for the news at 8.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.